Why are you doing this? Why us?
You really want to know?
Yeah, sure.
I'll tell you.
Why are you doing this? Why us?
You really want to know?
Yeah, sure.
I'll tell you. When I was a young boy, I had a dream. A dream to be the best male calf model that ever existed. But unfortunately, the good Lord, with all his infinite wisdom and majesty, gave me very, very small, paltry calves. So you see, I need this money to get calf implants. I'll show you, and you'll understand why.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's so bright. I can't stop looking.
I'd rather have Stephen Hawking's legs.
Now you know why we need the money. Before you shoot me, let me put my pant leg down. I don't want anybody to see my small calf.
You saved us. Put the gun down. Just put the gun down. Baby, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just put the gun down.
Hello, 911. There's been and break-in, and they've killed my husband. Please come now.
Why are you doing this? Why?
Is this going to be murder or manslaughter? Manslaughter is often described as an unintentional killing. Don't let this confuse you, because this is in fact going to be murder. Murder is the killing of another with malice aforethought. There are essentially 4 ways to satisfy the malice aforethought element. By having the intent to kill, by having the intent to cause grave bodily injury, by killing through extreme recklessness, and by killing during the commission of a felony. Although this was not an intentional killing, this was both an extremely reckless killing and a killing during the commission of a felony. A good example of an extremely reckless killing is letting a lion out of a cage. The killing might not have been intentional, but death was highly likely to result from the actions of the criminal. In other words, the criminal demonstrated a reckless disregard for the value of human life. This is also felony murder because any death caused during the commission of a felony is murder.
When I was a young boy,
It's important to note that the definition of felony murder does not limit liability to the criminal who pulls the trigger. This means that a co-felon, like this man here, can be convicted of murder for an unintentional killing that occurs during the commission of the crime. In order for this to be the case, the co-felon must be guilty of the underlying felony. That felony must be inherently dangerous. The killing must occur either during the felony or while fleeing, and it must be reasonably foreseeable.
I had a dream. A dream to be the best male calf model that ever existed. But unfortunately, the good Lord, with all his infinite wisdom and majesty, gave me very, very small, paltry calves. So you see, I need this money to get calf implants. I'll show you, and you'll understand why.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's so bright. I can't stop looking.
I'd rather have Stephen Hawking's legs.
Now you know why we need the money.
Now, this is murder because she intended to kill her victim. However, she would be able to successfully raise the self-defense defense. One may use force in self-defense if they reasonably believe that it is necessary to protect against an immediate and unlawful use of force against them. Deadly force may only be used if there is also a threat of death or serious bodily injury, as long as the person defending themselves with deadly force was not the initial transgressor, or they were the initial transgressor, but they sufficiently communicated that they were withdrawing from the conflict. So basically, if you punch somebody in the face and then shout out that you're no longer going to engage them in physical combat, they cannot hit you back and then claim self-defense. This is because you've sufficiently communicated your intent to withdraw from the conflict. The more astute among you may be wondering if the surviving co-felon may be held liable for the death of their partner in crime. After all, the felony murder rule does not specify whether the killing that occurs during the felony must be committed by a co-felon. In fact, it does not have to be. However, the felony murder rule does not apply to the death of a co-felon, so he can't be held liable for this murder. But if a security guard kills an innocent bystander while intending to kill one of the felons, both felons could be guilty of felony murder as long as the other requirements for felony murder are met.
Before you shoot me, let me put my pant leg down. I don't want anybody to see my small calf.
Here, she can no longer claim that her use of deadly force was justified because there was no threat of death or serious bodily injury now that he's been disarmed. One could even argue that the use of any force would be unjustified because she could not reasonably believe that it would be necessary to protect herself against an immediate and unlawful use of force.
You saved us. Put the gun down. Just put the gun down. Baby, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just put the gun down.
Here, the woman is clearly guilty of murder because she intended to kill her husband. Had she been aiming for a felon and accidentally shot her husband, then any surviving co-felon would be guilty of felony murder. However, if a co-felon did survive in this case, they would not be liable for the death of the husband because it was not reasonably foreseeable. Criminal acts are almost always unforeseeable, even if they're committed during someone else's criminal act.
Hello, 911. There's been an break-in, and they've killed my husband.